Okay, I think we can start. I would just start now. So, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here for our session, Choosing the Right Fertility Software for Your Clinic. You are probably here joining for one of these reasons. Either you already use a system and you think of switching to a new one, or you don't use any and want to start your digital journey now. So today I would like to introduce to you MedITEX IVF, the world-leading fertility software used by clinics across the globe. To make sure that we are all on the same page, I would like to share the agenda real quick with you. So I would like to start by introducing myself. I'm going to give you some key information about the company behind MedITEX, and then I'm going to show you the key functionalities of MedITEX IVF. And in the end, you can ask questions in the Q&A box, but I am going to remind you more often throughout this session. So I would like to first introduce myself. I am Francesca. I am the MedITEX sales specialist, and I work for MedITEX now for more than 2 years. I am responsible for every sales-related topic regarding pricing, offerings. I take care of new customers, existing customers. I do online presentations, product presentations, and I am at ESHRE every year as well. Now, before I talk about Crytex, the company behind MedITEX, I'd like to talk about our portfolio first. MedITEX is known for its IVF software, but our portfolio can be separated in 4 main sections. We have the patient services, the cooperations, and the data collection. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about these things throughout the session, but today we would like to focus on the IVF software itself. About MedITEX, about the company behind MedITEX, which is called Crytex. We are based in Germany, in Regensburg. We are known as IT experts in reproductive medicine and are currently the world-leading fertility software with over 17 years of experience. MedITEX IVF is provided with flexible clinical workflows. That means that MedITEX IVF gives you the possibility to adapt your own clinical workflows into the system. We also provide a very big portfolio of different interfaces, providing device connectivity and also integration with different systems. MedITEX is also a all-in-one solution, so it's not only the MedITEX IVF software, we also provide modules such as scheduling tools, accounting tools, and more. We also have an embryologist in our team to really understand what our clients need to get these insights and to really, see the necessary requirements of clients working in this field. Global support services is a big topic for us. I'm going to share some pictures with you today. On the left side and the right side, you can see our international support team lead visiting our client in Hungary. The Hungarian registry decided to work with MedITEX, which is a very big project that we are very proud of. We have an international support team that is very dedicated to help our clients go through the transition and the implementation phase. As you can see here on these pictures, we visit our clients and we really take care of them. On the next slide, here you can see again our international support team lead on the left side in Australia, also a very big project. He's performing training on this picture. And on the right side, you can see in the middle of the picture our CFO visiting a clinic in Germany. Now talking about global supports, here you can see that MedITEX IVF is trusted by over 500 clinics globally. We are active in 54 countries and we support 14 different languages. If you need a language that we do not have yet, we are very open to do translations. So we are very flexible in order to provide the system in the language that you need. We have already helped clinics manage and protocol and document more than 7 million cycles. And this global footprint reflects not only our experience, but also the adaptability of our solutions to different clinical and regional needs. The countries that are colored out in black are our customers, and the red dots you can see in the map are our distributors. Now that you got some info about Crytex, the company behind MedITEX, I would like to talk about MedITEX IVF, the fertility EMR, the reason why you are joining this webinar today. You can see here 4 icons. We call them roles, the so-called roles in MedITEX IVF. We have the clinician, the embryologist, the nurse, and the management. Please note that these are not fixed roles for the clinic. It's just experience-based insights that we gathered over the past years. And if the tasks and topics of your clinic differ, that's no problem at all. MedITEX IVF is very flexible and can adapt to your needs. I'm gonna start with the clinician. The clinician includes different sections such as the medical history, cycles, examinations, consultations, and pathology results. I'm going to start by showing you how to create a cycle. You can see here the different treatments you can choose with MedITEX IVF. So MedITEX IVF allows you to create different treatments, not only IVF, but more. And once you created a cycle, you're going to see the cycle overview. Here on the top, you can see that the system provides you with different steps within the treatment. So in this case, we have an IVF ICSI treatment, and the system is going to give me, accordingly to the treatment, the steps, the overview, the aspiration, the culture, and going straight forward. So even if you choose a thawing cycle, the system is going to provide you with the according steps. You can see here the calendar in the cycle overview. We have here even more cycle details. Here on the side, we have medication prescriptions, we have hormones, we have examinations, and of course, MedITEX IVF is integratable with ultrasound devices, so you could even see in your examinations some images of the ultrasounds. The medical history of MedITEX allows you to enter a lot of information regarding the medical history of your patient. You can see that we have general information, we have different ways to enter information regarding the medical history. The medical history is an important part of the patient journey, also of the clinical journey, and we have 2 different possibilities to enter the medical history in MedITEX IVF. You can rather do that manually and just type in everything that you have, or you use the MedITEX online survey, which allows your patients to fill out the medical history comfortably from the home, and then you can just import the medical history of your patient with 1 click into MedITEX IVF. Great. I would just go straight forward talking about the management section. This includes statistics, interfaces, and user rights. I have talked in the beginning a little bit of our interface portfolio. At this point, I would also like to emphasize that after this meeting, I'm going to provide you with a QR code where you can just schedule a meeting with me one-on-one and ask your specific questions about the possibilities with MedITEX IVF. But also, if you like, afterwards in the chat, you can ask your questions. Now the statistics. Statistics are very crucial for clinics. We have a module called MedITEX KPI, which is included for free in the MedITEX IVF package. You can see the module here. I opened it. You can choose different KPIs, lab KPIs, pregnancy KPIs. There are even extra KPIs. And then you can run your statistics in less than 2 seconds. You can here group your statistics that you just want to run, and you can also filter them, treatments, staff, and so on. And as soon as I click on the button Go, MedITEX KPI is going to provide you with a very detailed statistic. You can print it and you can export it as well. The user rights are managed in MedITEX administration. This is also coming inclusive in the MedITEX IVF basic package. Here you can see all the active users. You can manage their access. You can add users. You can even see the inactive users and have a whole section in MedITEX administration in order to manage the user rights within MedITEX IVF. And this is not only possible with only users, but it's also possible with user groups. Let's say doctors, embryologists. You can give them full control. You can tell them to only read patient data and so on. So it gives you a good workflow in order to manage the rights of your users and user groups. Great. Now I would like to talk a little bit about the embryologist in MedITEX IVF. The embryologist has different sections within MedITEX IVF. We have a donor bank. There's also a cryostorage. The precise oocyte examination is also a big part of MedITEX IVF and the semen analysis. Now here, I would also like to mention again that this is not fixed. This is just experience-based. And if in your clinic you feel like you have different tasks for your staff members, there's no problem at all. This is just from the experience. Great. Now, maybe this top bar reminds you of what you saw in the beginning. We have been in the overview earlier while I showed you the cycles. Here now I jumped in the culture. So here now you have all the collected oocytes from the aspiration, and here the dates of the development of your oocytes. You can see many different icons. This is now the graphical representation of the oocyte examination of the culture, and you can easily, by just clicking on them, changing the stage, cryopreserve them, and also set different icons such as the embryo transfer. So the graphical representation of the oocyte examination in MedITEX IVF is pretty famous under our embryologist clients since it gives you a good overview of what is going on in the lab. If I double click on one of them, I can see that I can add extra notes. I can do assisted hatching. We also have an interface to incubators. So it gives you the possibility to even add more information, the stage, the score, different dimension classifications, and so on. The semen analysis is also pretty straightforward. You can see here that I can enter all the different information regarding the sample. I can add the collection date. I can add the doctor that analyzed the sample. We also have interfaces to CASA systems. So there's always the possibility to get information digitally, but you can, of course, also add them manually. But using the interfaces gives you, of course, more time efficiency, and it avoids typing mistakes as well. What you're going to see here is the cryo storage of my selected patient. Here I can see all the samples my patient has currently in storage, and of course as well in the past, the history of the cryo storage. Here I see the reserved semen sample for my patient, and by clicking on this little plus icon here, I can easily just add a new sample to my cryo storage. If I double click on one of the cryopreserved sample, you can always see the info and the day of the oocyte. I can see when it has been frozen and enter as many information as possible. You can even see here the location in your cryo tank and see exactly where it is. So let's talk about the nurse tasks. This includes administration, consents, file management, and patient communication, and of course, planned cycles. Again, this is not fixed. If your nurses don't do planned cycles, it's not a problem at all. We are very flexible. So the file management is pretty easy, very user-friendly. If I select my patient and I go on the demographics of my patient, I can see all the documents linked to my patient. By the way, MedITEX IVF allows you to create documents from the system, such as cycle letters, treatment sheets, cryo invoices, of course with your clinical logo, and our team would help you configuring it the way you need it. I can also filter these documents. If I search for a different type of a document, I have easily access to the documents of my patient without losing anything, and everything at one place. Now what you see here is what we call patient card. This is what you would usually see if you open MedITEX IVF, you select the patient and you would see the patient card. And you can see here a little tab that is called consents. Here I can see the consents already created for my patient and of course the status. If I double click on the consent, I can change easily the status of the consent. I can say it has been accepted, the patient refused, and so on. I can always add my notes, which is possible in almost every section in MedITEX IVF. I can send it per email and I can print it and basically do everything with my consents that is necessary. Now, if you paid a little bit of attention, you maybe saw this little icon here in almost every section that I just presented. This icon looks pretty small, but it's basically very big when it comes to what it can do. So if you see these icons, that means that in these fields you can customize the system to your needs. We call them QM fields. And again, I would like to emphasize that by the end of the meeting, of the webinar, you can book a meeting with me and we can go really in detail and I can show you the system to your needs. So what does this little button do? With this button, you can additionally assign times, staff, notes, processes, material, of course, inclusive batches. And this gives the clinics, especially since you also saw from the very beginning that we have clients in 54 different countries. Every clinic works very differently and very individually. So MedITEX IVF is not a fixed program. It allows you to adapt your workflows, your needs to it, which is very important. So you can play with it and really try adding your own workflows to the system. So now we talked a little bit about the roles, about what MedITEX IVF covers. Of course, there's way more to discover in MedITEX IVF. There's way more to see. And now you may be ask yourself, why MedITEX IVF? Why is MedITEX IVF the right fertility software for my clinic specifically? Now, let's firstly talk about something that is basically the heart of every fertility clinic, the patient experience. Choosing the right fertility software is not just about internal processes, it's also about how well the patient is supported emotionally and from the information you can give them and what the patient really needs. Under the patient-centric solution, this is now exactly where the Hope app comes in. The Hope app was not built just like that. The founder of the Hope app, her name is Alina Latus. She went through her own fertility journey, so she knows what patients need because she was a patient one herself. Under the patient-centric solutions falls also the MedITEX online survey that I mentioned earlier, and it allows patients to fill out their medical history very comfortable from their home, saving the time, reducing the stress before their first visit in your clinic. The detailed clinic statistics is also a very important topic in the whole IVF journey, in the whole IVF field. With detailed clinic statistics, you can improve your decision making, of course. You have a big monitoring and optimization of your performance, and you can be very transparent, and you can also make your reporting even better. MedITEX IVF is very strong when it comes to statistics. I have showed you the MedITEX KPI module, but within MedITEX IVF, there's also something called the report editor, where you can run your reports all over almost everything you have protocoled and documented in MedITEX IVF. Seamless connectivity solutions, I have mentioned it also earlier. MedITEX IVF has this big portfolio of different interfaces and the possibility to connect with devices. It gives you efficient data flow across all systems. If you work with different systems, if you have many devices that need to work with your system, we connect, for example, with almost every ultrasound device in the market. It saves you a lot of time and avoids typing mistakes, for example, regarding pathology results, for example, if you add them manually or if you use one of our interfaces that allows your lab to send pathology results into MedITEX IVF digitally and automatically. The global support service, we saw earlier in the beginning of my presentation that we visit our, we visit our customers. For us, it's really important to not only sell the system, but also to walk hand in hand with our clients from the very beginning, supporting through configuration, performing efficient training, the entire transition phase. We also have a strong partnership with different distributors all over the globe, which allows us to be present and to be there and to also just support our clients before the implementation, while the implementation, and of course afterwards. What MedITEX IVF is also very special about, as I mentioned also earlier, is the flexible clinical workflows. I just like to mention it again. You are able to add your own workflows to MedITEX IVF, which promises you a customizable user experience. So it doesn't matter in which way you work, what is different from the things I have showed you now within the presentation. Working with us together gives you the opportunity to have a system that really matches your workflows within the clinic. There's a last thing that I also would like to mention is that we have seen in our recent case study interview with one of our clients from South Africa, and also something that many of our customers experience, is that MedITEX IVF does way more than just support individual tasks. MedITEX IVF basically puts the tasks together. It connects people. It brings embryologists, nurses, clinicians, and the management onto the same page. You can share access to data and seamless workflows, and MedITEX IVF turns departments into a team. By the way, I will add the link to the study case interview video of YouTube in the chat so you can have a look. It's pretty interesting. And this team spirit within MedITEX IVF is what makes great clinics even stronger, working together and not as single departments. We are, and I mean, if you want to see us in person, we are going to be at ESHRE this year, of course, in Paris. If you scan the QR code, I'm going to leave the QR code for a minute here. You can just schedule a meeting with us in person to talk about how MedITEX can benefit your clinical workflows. So I'm just gonna leave it here so you can scan it and book a meeting with our team. Great. So we are already at the end of the webinar. Thank you all for joining us today. I really hope this gave you new insights into how MedITEX IVF can support your daily work and help your clinic grow. If you have any questions, there is a little box with a question mark. You can click on it and just text me a question. Should you have any clinic-specific questions or something very technical, you can see here on the screen now another QR code which leads you to my calendar, and you can book a one-on-one meeting, and I can present the system to your requirements and to your needs and really show you how to work with these benefits specifically for your clinic. And I would be very happy to meet you, whether at ESHRE or in a one-on-one meeting with this QR code. And I'm just gonna wait if there are any questions coming in. Take your time, you can ask anything, and I would be also very happy to see you in a face-to-face meeting. There's just a last thing that I would also like to mention. You can see next to the question box materials. This could be very interesting. You can download them. We have the International MedITEX overview where you can see everything that we offer and that we provide, tools, different features, and also interfaces. Sorry. And we also have our unique selling points attached, so you can have a look. I will just wait another second. There's a question coming. What is your pricing approach? Is it a fee for the clinic or based on number of cycles, etc.? Good question. We charge per concurrent user. That means how many users are going to be logged in at the same time? How many users do you need to be working with MedITEX at the same time? And then we have you have two opportunities. You can whether rent the system. This is something that we do in order to work also with smaller clinics, or you can also buy the licenses. This is up to you. And then there's only just a service fee included, which is a one-time fee, and this is how we charge. Yes, so any specific questions about specific meetings, just feel free to use the QR code, book a meeting, and then we can talk about everything specifically for your clinic. This is a 45-minute session that you will be forwarded to with this QR code, and then we can talk face to face. So you can also say something, not like here. You mentioned that you charged per logged user. Am I able to share one account with my colleague from the lab? Yes, this would be possible, but you cannot be logged in at the same time. So if you work in different time schedules, this could be possible, but having one license and then two people working with that account is not possible. Thank you. How long would implementation of MedITEX take at a clinic? This is a very tricky question because it really depends on the scope and on everything that you need, interfaces, different modules, how many people are, for example, going to be trained. So this is also a thing to talk about in a one-on-one meeting, so I can give you a better answer if I understand your requirements and your needs. You mentioned that MedITEX comes in different languages now. If yes, how long does it take for your team to make those development? So thank you for your question. So should there be a language that MedITEX IVF is not available in? This really also depends on the help that we get from the clinic, since we do these translations together, but this shouldn't take longer than a month. Because this really is just a translation and not a development per se. Okay. So again, if you have any specific questions regarding how you work, if it's possible to adapt your workflows to MedITEX IVF, or if you think, is this even feasible the way we work, I would really suggest to schedule a meeting with me. Just scan the QR code. I'm pretty free the next weeks, and I would be very happy to show you around the system and to also answer your specific questions. How would you think a clinic would adapt to a change in systems? Would it be easy to switch to MedITEX? Good question. So we are very experienced when it comes to historical data import. We also work with REST API, for example, which is a very flexible interface. So if you're using different systems at the moment, like several systems, for example, we can integrate and communicate with different systems through our REST API interface. So the change shouldn't be really hard, since we also train our clients in different groups, from doctors to nurses to embryologists, to really support them using the system in a best practice way. But the change itself is more often better than how it was before. Some integration with electronic witnessing systems. Yes, we support eWitness, RI Witness. It is possible to integrate with those systems, of course. I would also like to mention that I'm going to send you a list after this webinar with all the different interfaces and all the different modules we provide and we support. Then you can have a look through it, and should you have any questions in the meantime, while checking this list, just feel free to book a one-on-one meeting with me, and we can talk about your specific questions. Okay, we have another question coming. What kind of support would you provide to customers should there be questions during usage? Also, with the time difference with different countries, which could be difficult. Okay, now related to the map that you saw earlier, we have customers globally across the world, and Australia is basically on the other side of the world for us, but our support team is very dedicated to also visit our clients and to be on site. For example, in this case of Australia, we did a pre-implementation, an implementation, and a post-implementation phase. It was a long time, but it was really worth it. We also trained super users. That means in a bigger group or even a smaller, doesn't matter. Training a super user allows your clinics to have internal insights regarding any employee switch or anything's changing within the clinic. Super users are great. And the time zones, we have, for example, a hotline, 24/7 emergency phone, should there be anything drastically important or the system is crashing or something is not working. We are available 24/7 for our clients. But then regarding general support, we work with emails, with tickets, and also with the phone. If you are coming to ESHRE, we would be very happy to even see you in person. That's always a total different experience. So you can also see who is behind MedITEX, who is the team, who is the support team, to also get to know us better. So I would just say thank you again for joining. It was a pleasure introducing MedITEX IVF to you. I hope I'll see you in an online meeting, a one-on-one meeting with me. And enjoy your day. Have a good one. And I'm looking forward to talking to you all again.